Hello Aries, welcome to your July monthly reading. I'm going to approach this by looking back at June. We had talked about having a big decision that you needed to make, so let's see, kind of check in on that. And also there was kind of conversation around your self-identity, or kind of regaining your self of oneness, your self of balance. And then of course we'll dive into the month ahead using the charms and cards. So timestamp below if you don't want to watch the process of getting the card selections and the charms. You can just go ahead and skip ahead, but we're going to go ahead and look back for Aries, June. Let's see how things went for you. Did you make that big decision? Or did you just kind of focus in and reconnect in with yourself? Okay. And now let's look ahead at July for Aries. What's on deck? Maybe you need to prepare for something to look forward to celebrate. We'll see here. And I've just been doing 4 cards for the month ahead, no rhyme or reason. I've been thinking maybe it's because I have 3 for the month, kind of looking back. And this is the 7th month, so this is 7 cards. And I do kind of double up on one set of cards, so maybe there's something extra lucky here, 777, 777. Maybe there's a message in there from the angels and from our soul energies. Maybe July in general is just a lucky month for everyone. Coming out of June, or maybe the spring season before. Maybe not the greatest season start to the year. Okay. Putting the card aside, and now we'll get our charms. And for whatever reason, my dog is making significant eye contact with me from across the room. Usually he just goes for a nap when he knows I'm sitting down to do some signs. So I don't know if you've been doing the same, just kind of staring at yourself in the mirror, maybe while you're trying to make your decision. Or maybe you just really like the process. Here, just kind of zooming in here and watching the cards and the charms fall. Okay, let's move those aside, get more room. I'm just adjusting the charms. That just lets me kind of tune into the energies, get a sense of the initial message here. All right, so let's start by looking back at June. Like I said, Aries, you had either a decision to make. You kind of was weighing on your heart and mind. I'm not even going to slide this other card out because, as I was saying, heart and mind, I wasn't even looking at camera. I kind of looked back over at the cards. I was just peeking over at my notes. And I see the heart and the man at power manifestation here, right? Heart and mind. And then also there was some of you were looking to sort of regain your sense of identity. Maybe you're pursuing, like, who am I? What's my sense of purpose? Maybe that was connected to the decision you were making here, right? They're both centering here on self, kind of listening to what your heart's wish is telling you, what your intuition is telling you. But it looks like you still have work to do. I don't know if you did all the work in June here. Maybe there's still some work to do in July. Maybe we'll see it come up here. You did do the work in the sense of focus. You were kind of clearing out the distractions here, the clutter. So maybe June was a quiet month for you in terms of conversation, socialization, as you just focused in on yourself here. Or if you did go out, maybe you're just more quiet, maybe not as engaged, which is okay too. Okay. So a little look back on June. Let's head into July here. For whatever reason, I'm drawn to these charms. So I'm going to start here. Starting with the tie. you know, right away I'm being drawn into the throat chakra, my eyes being drawn back to June, and sort of the healing, the focus of healing here in the throat and the chest area. So I don't know if you were experiencing a tightness in your chest, Aries, at any point. You know, maybe with the change of season, there was a head cold or allergies or any kind of ailment maybe that caught you up. Otherwise, this is just connected to like voicing, right? I was saying you were pretty quiet here in June, so maybe July is the time to start talking now. Start voicing your decision maybe. With the camp sign, this is a sense of direction. Coming back to what I was saying in June, and some of you trying to find your sense of purpose. Where do I go next with this? And it looks like you know what needs to be said or done in order to head in this direction. And there's support here with the footprints in the sand. This is either support through developing your belief system, right? You're coming here, you're connecting in with your angels, your soul energies. You're getting prepared, so that's one source of help. But also your earth angels, right? Your family members, your friends, your colleagues, your close support network. So it could be now is the time to ask for the help as well, just kind of how I'm placing the charms here. Starting with the tie, and it's time to speak up, and then the direction is pointing to like a source of help here. Or requesting help, asking for help. Letting people know what you're doing so that they can just offer you help. Sometimes you don't even have to ask, right? So this is a beautiful card, one of my favorite cards in this deck. I love getting it. I love how it's reaching for her dreams, right? Solid foundation. You've made the decision. You know who you are, sort of what direction you want to go in, right? You found your guiding star, your heart's passion, your intuition. I also like the roots here and the giving birth here, the newness. You got the river, the nourishment flowing in here, right? And your kind of new start, but they're really drawing me into the roots planted here. So whatever decision you made in June or have to make, or you're about to make here in July, or you made it previous to June and July, but July is the period where you're starting to see the sort of the rewards to your efforts here of starting a new foundation, kind of planting your roots, you know, making firm decision and focus. You know where you're headed now. Interesting that the mouth, right? Again, we're coming back to the throat chakra, emotions. So maybe there's some still some closure here required at the emotional level, some healing at the emotional level. You know, the thoughts, the mind space, maybe you're still reviewing, you're still going through a period of healing and release, and maybe that's why I was seeing it here in June, bleeding into July, sort of in that heart, throat area, right? You're just kind of maybe working through memories here. In terms of the asking for help, there could just be, you know, help in terms of someone to just speak through, to like talk it through. So maybe, you know, July's the period you decide to seek some form of counseling or therapy, just sort of that additional sort of expert support. So that's help. But we also have that new start, right? You're kicking off your new start here. So it could just be the conversations, like I was saying, letting people in and kind of know what your plan is, and then see the help that they may offer you. Maybe it's moving, you know, maybe it's finding a new job. Whatever your scenario is here. I'm going to go across. So you might be still dealing with some critical thinking, because we are coming off of the sword here in the mind's eye, and sort of the emotional kind of healing that I'm seeing and feeling, sort of you needing to think through and kind of work your way through some some experiences or memories or maybe connections, and just sort of the critical thinking and judgmental thinking, and as part of that release process here, emotional release process. Because we have the birth here again. We saw the leaf, the new start. We have the newly gained wisdom, which is, you know, the work that we saw you doing here, right? Clearing out the clutter by cutting ties, you know, reconnecting in with your with your sense of self and your potentially belief system. But there's like this newly gained knowledge and comfort, and you're setting out on your journey here, right? The turtle's gonna be swimming around here for quite a while. So you're heading out on your next leg here in July as you work through sort of that final bit of emotional release. And we do see it here with the old crone, right? She's looking back, reflecting back in her cauldron of wisdom, right? Her looking back into sort of the oracle here. And look at the memories here that she's kind of working through and releasing with her emotional blanket on, right? So this is just all emotional healing. I don't know if some of you are also practicing, kind of going back to this expert. But if you are practicing or considering either hypnotherapy or past life regression, I feel like she's kind of the expert to kind of guide you through that. Any kind of meditation, guided meditation. I don't know if you've started doing that as well. If that's something you've begun to adopt into your lifestyle, right? This new wisdom, this new approach to things, this new path you've set out on. And I like these individuals that are coming in, kind of welcoming you, right? They're greeting you at the door of this new path. We see it down here, right? You had the choice of that decision, right? We saw you had a big decision to make. You know, which path were you going to continue down for the next part here, the next chapter. And the path you chose is going to bring you to crossing the path with some very brilliant, supportive, loving new characters here, some new contacts. I don't know why. I feel very like Alice in Wonderland-ish. You know, she kind of comes into that new world, and the community's there waiting for her. So, you know, real world application is joining a new community, a new company. That's a new group of people. Maybe you join a club. You know, as you discovered your sense of who you are, you've probably identified a group of people that you've just allowed yourself to be authentically you, and they're you know, opening the doors and welcoming you in. I was gonna go here, and then I heard no, so I'm gonna go here. So this is my legacy charm. And we were just talking about setting off on a new path. So far, every card has given me a sense of you've planted a seed, and now you're starting out. You know, you're going to start seeing and feeling the benefits, right? The community that greeted you at the door has now handed you, you know, your sword here, your samurai sword, like a welcoming gift, a token. But this is like uniquely yours, you know. Back in the day, families, or I mean, even still today, families have tartans and shields, but you've uniquely created this. So you're creating you're making an addition to your existing kind of family emblem here. You've created your own. There's this beautiful sense of balance. So I think you did conquer sort of your sense of oneness there. There's not much more healing to do other than the emotional memory space. You know, you're still working through what you do not want to bring forward into this new chapter, this new life. It's probably going to feel like to you as they're pulling me into the soccer ball. So it's like night and day, you know, out of the darkness into the light. That's really how it feels here. Maybe that's why the legacy here is a new emblem, a new shield, because you're doing a 180 here. And then we have a beautiful gift here from the universe, your angels. You know, July, maybe expect the unexpected, or don't be surprised if you receive something unexpected. That's a very pleasant gift, a little pleasant reward. So let's see what the universe is going to gift you here in July. I mean, it could be as simple as, you know, getting tickets, last minute tickets to your favorite artist concert or something, but it's still a gift, right? It's still a mini miracle. So let's see here. So we just had the full moon. It actually was last night here, based on the day I'm filming your reading. And I feel like that was the kickstart here. You know, the wheels are turning now. You're full on down that path that you chose. You're no longer at that juncture. You made that full step, that one step. You know exactly where you're going here. Power manifestation. But there's something very specific to the full moon. So either you were awake all night and you don't know why, you just couldn't sleep, or you very much connected into your dreamscape. You probably woke up feeling extremely rested, very happy, feeling like a new person, just kind of like re-energized, right? She's charged up here. The moon has charged her up here in all areas, right? Her authority, courage, bravery, control, right? Creativity, mastering, weaving her world, and then the connection here of her intuition, you know, her beliefs. And then we have the beautiful kind of cup here of death and rebirth, right? You're leaving this version of you behind, and you're choosing to head into this new world. I'm getting that sense of new world again. It's like you're that dark and light again, right? Rising from the depths. Maybe that's what it feels like to you. Maybe you feel like you've successfully gotten yourself out of the bottom, right? But there's this beautiful new world waiting for you here, Aries. That you're setting out on, that you're creating with a little gift. But they didn't hint to what the gift was here, so it's got to be part of your new world. It's probably the welcome gift, like I was seeing up here, right? They were greeting you at the door. They're welcoming you. So housewarming present, right? First day on the job kind of gift here, but from the angels. So then maybe this is why they didn't tell me what the gift is, because over here we have miracle and dreams. So like a dream come true, a serendipitous opportunity. These are like love at first sight kind of moments. Right place, right time opportunities. Going back to sort of that tickets, you know, if you're kind of standing at the will call and you get the best seats in the house, someone calls the box office and offers them up. Or you get upgraded for free, right, on a flight. You know, do you mind switching seats with someone so they can sit together and you end up in first class? You know, it's a little wish, but it's still a dream come true here scenario coming in July for Aries. Okay. So you might be split in two camps, I will be honest. It might be, like I was saying, love at first sight. So it might be a romantic connection, if that's what you've been seeking but not focused on, because you've been focused on self. So, you know, you're going to draw in you're going to attract the right kind of love to you here. And that's going to kind of kick off in July. You'll kind of cross paths and catch each other's attention. But then I'm really drawn to how the skull looks like it's at a birthday party here. At some kind of celebration, kind of festivity. You know, I love the face painting. It kind of draws me into October time with Delamorte parties. You know, the nice balance here of wealth and opulence and food and festivity and festive time. So This might be already in your calendar, but again, I feel like this is a dream come true. So a little wish come true. So you might get, again, that last minute ticket. Your friend's going to invite you to something. You're going to get that VIP experience here. That's really what it's just kind of communicating to me. So, you know, either a really grand connection, an important connection in your life. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it'll be an important connection to you with a deep love. You know, it could be your next new best friend, right? Or this VIP experience. This kind of surprise moment because of the party hat, right? Surprise. Who knows? Maybe someone's planning a surprise party for you and I just ruined it. But they're really drawing me into the VIP experience more so. You're gonna feel like a VIP, you know, like you've won the lottery here, like the best day. I cannot believe this day, you know. Okay, so looks like you put in the work. You still have a little bit more work to do in July, like I was feeling, because we saw it over here with the emotional space. So you're just kind of clearing the clutter, right? Again, I stumbled by trying to merging those two words, so that's twice now. And we saw it here in the beginning, just kind of speaking up and starting to let people that you want to bring forward into this new life, this next chapter of you, just letting them know and opening up and seeing the support and love that they give you. And then sort of the rest of the July being this beautiful kickstart, full of little gifts and surprises and, you know, the feeling of coming out of the darkness here. So I'm excited now to connect in with you next month and seeing sort of the progress on this.